Let me walk you through the A to Z of how a sponsorship looks like so that you guys can get the most transparency for it, okay? At least for me, when I first started doing sponsorships, I literally had no idea how it worked. I was like, do they email you? What does it look like? Da, 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 da. I'm just gonna hypothetically use this as an example. This is not how my partnership with Elgato happens, okay? I'm gonna put a disclaimer right now, but I'm just using this as an example because I need to show you a product to try to make it make sense, okay? So hypothetically, let's talk about a partnership with Elgato. Typically, what you would have is you would have a business email that you would put in the bio of all of your social media platforms. If you do not have a business email in the bio of your social media platforms, go to Gmail or go to Hotmail or whatever email service you want to use. Make a business email, okay? Just make a new email account, make it sound professional. Either just have your username at gmail.com. If you can't get it, do username business, username official, blah, 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 blah. And then stick that email in the bio of all of your social media platforms. This is going to be the primary way companies will reach out to you. They will go look for your business email and reach out to you through there. There are times where they will DM you. It is not very frequent. And typically companies want to use a more professional method of communicating, which is why they will go through your email. Let's say you have your business email in all of your social media bios, and then now an email will pop up in your inbox. It will probably look something like this. It will be from somebody with a specific role. So it will be typically from the influencer manager or the partnership manager that works at Elgato. Sometimes they have one, sometimes they have multiple people. They will send you an email. The bio will say something like partnership with Elgato, potential partnership, and in the body of the email, they will reach out. So they'll be like, hi, my name is, I don't know, so-and-so from Elgato. I really like your work. I think you're cool. I would love to go and partner with you for promoting the Stream Deck Neo. They will tell you what they are looking for. So typically they'll say, hey, we would like you to make a video about our Stream Deck Neo. What are your rates? It will look some ways like that, okay? Typically, if they come out guns blazing, they will immediately ask, what are your rates? And then this is where it gets very messy. This is the email negotiation phase, which is where you just email back and forth until you guys can come to an agreement. Let me tell you this right now. Everything is negotiable. Everything. Let's say hypothetically, so-and-so at Elgato emails me, Kat, we really want you to make a TikTok video for the Stream Deck Neo. What are your rates? I would reply with, hi, thank you so much for your interest in wanting to work with me. I would love to make a video promoting the Stream Deck Neo. For this, I charge $2,000 for one TikTok video. You would tell them your rate. There are some things that you need to clarify as well, by the way. I tell them my rate for one TikTok video with no whitelisting and no usage rights is $2,000. What whitelisting is the usage to run ads on your video. Whitelisting has a time limit. It is not indefinite. The standard time limits for whitelisting are 30 days, 60 days, and 365 days, aka 1 year. So this will be something you will negotiate down the line. And usage rights is ownership of your video. So then I will send them the file of the video and they will have it and they will be able to use it. There is also a time limit for ownership of your video. Typically, again, 30 days, 60 days, 1 year. Those are the standards, but anything goes. They can ask for 2 years. They also can ask for in perpetuity usage. What in perpetuity means is forever. I make it very clear that when they reach out to me, I am like, yes, this is my rate, $2,000 for no whitelisting, no usage rights, just straight video goes on my account. But what I also like to add in the email, by the way, my response email when they're asking for my rates, I like to add bundle packages, okay? So just because Elgato emailed me and they asked me for one video promoting the Stream Deck Neo, I will respond back with, oh, so my rate for one video without whitelisting, without usage rights is $2,000. However, I also have an Instagram page with 80,000 followers and I also have a YouTube channel with 30,000 followers. I can offer you a repost of this video to my Instagram and to my YouTube shorts, and I will bundle this all together for $3,000. Y'all don't want to upsell. So I send this email back to Elgato and then I wait for Elgato to send me a response. You will get responses during working business hours, okay? Because at the end of the day, there is a human being emailing you back and yeah, they don't work on weekends. So obviously, if I send Elgato my response email on a Friday, I will not get a response back from Elgato typically until Monday. Let's say hypothetically, Elgato emails me back and they're like, hey Kat, you know, we actually really do like this bundle idea that you said for the Stream Deck Neo, but could you budge on the rate a little bit? This is all negotiating. Again, everything is negotiable. I will respond back with, okay, sure, I can definitely fudge on the rate a little bit. To make this cheaper for you, I can offer you another bundle as well. So I could offer you, I don't know, I'm throwing it out there. I could offer you $2,500 to make one vertical video about your Stream Deck Neo that I will then post on my TikTok and repost to my Instagram Reels. I send that email to Elgato. Elgato will come back to me and they'll be like, cool, we can lock in for this rate. This looks great. Now I have the verbal okay from Elgato that we're gonna do a sponsorship for the Stream Deck Neo that will post onto my TikTok and onto my Instagram Reels. Now I need the contract. Don't work without a contract, guys. You will get scammed unless they pay you up front. Then it could be kind of okay. So now here's the next step, okay? I will ask Elgato, hey, when do you want this video by? By the way, sometimes that comes up earlier in the emailing, sometimes a little bit later. It's like, hey, by the way, what's the deadline for this video? Just putting it out there, by the way, if they have a very short deadline, as in, oh, can you make this video in 2 days? You need to charge a rush fee on top of your original rates, because they're asking for more work because it's so short of a turnover. So let's say Elgato's like, oh, yeah, we want this video in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. They will also, by the way, if you don't have the product already, they will need to ask for your shipping information so they can mail it to you. Sometimes it gets a little bit messy because sometimes shipments don't arrive on time, this, that, and the third, right? But I will tell Elgato, I'll be like, cool, you want this video in 2 weeks? I will give you a 1 week window where I will turn over this video the moment that I get this in hand. I always try to make it clear, like, just because you tell me you want this in 2 weeks, let's be reasonable here, okay? If for some reason USPS dropkicked this to Narnia, I am not going to turn over this video in 1 day if the reshipment arrives, you know, blah, blah, blah. There's always sometimes shipping delays, whatever. So I'll like, when I get this product in hand, like within 1 week, I will turn it over to you. But then never do work without a contract. So I literally do zero work unless I get the contract. And I tell them, I'm like, hey, by the way, I will not do any work until this contract is signed and locked in. With the exception, there's some companies that I've worked with that are reputable companies. I've worked with them a lot at like Adobe. A lot of times for Adobe, I will actually work on the video before I even sign the contract. But I have worked a lot with Adobe to this point where I trust them. I typically do not work without a contract, with the exception of Adobe. Elgato will give me the contract by email, and then you have to read the contract. This is where it also gets messy. A lot of times you will agree to things in the email, and then the company will start scamming you in the contract. They will sneak things in that you didn't agree to. So let's say I read it. The verbal language of a contract is very messy. I am not a legal attorney. I am not a lawyer. I have no professional legal experience at reading contracts. I just have my own experience as a content creator reading the contracts I've received. They will have a list of deliverables in the contract. Like there'll be a thing where like social media creator in blank name, you have to fill it in with your own name, is responsible for providing deliverables for, and then they'll put like a parentheses like C page, whatever, C line or section 14 for deliverables on this day, and will receive a payment of $2,500. Scroll to where you see the deliverables, read it, make sure it is what you guys agreed to. One TikTok video, reposted to Instagram Reels. If they start putting whitelisting, usage rights, owns the likeness to your face and brand, and link in bio, all that other stuff that you didn't agree to, then we go back to negotiating. Then it's called redlining, which is you mark up the parts in the contract you don't agree with, you redline it, you send it back, and you're like, hey, by the way, we didn't agree to, let's say hypothetically, they snuck in 30 days usage. I'll be like, hey, Elgato, we did not agree to 30 days usage of my videos. Could you admit this in the contract? And then I will sign it. Even the contract I'm saying is negotiable. Always read every single contract. It is a legal binding document, by the way. Another thing you do want to read in the contract too is they will tell you, we will pay you net 15, 30, 45, 60, 90, whatever. So what net payment net is it is the amount of time they have to pay you from receiving the invoice. So if it's net 30, by the time they get my invoice, they have 30 days to pay me. 15, 30, 45 is standard. They do any longer than that, it's quite a long time. You can negotiate that too. You can be like, hey, so I see you have here net 60 for payment. Can we get this down to a net 30? Everything is negotiable. I want to re-emphasize this. If there's any terms you don't like, renegotiate it. So let's say Elgato gives it back. They're like, whoops, totally forgot that we had this in the contract. I just omitted it. Can you sign this now? Then you sign the contract. And then you send it back to them. They will sign it on their end, download this contract, save it. Now you have your contract, your legal binding document. Once you receive the contract in hand that is signed by them, that they also signed, so with both signatures on it, you can go make the video. So how does a sponsorship video look like? This will vary a lot depending on what the company is looking for. I will ask for clarity. So this is my process. I do it in multiple steps. I'm like, hey guys, so you want me to make a video about the Stream Deck Neo? Is there anything specifically you want me to cover, etc.? My experience with Elgato, they're extremely flexible. They don't give two craps. Like Elgato, trust trust me, I trust them. They know that I'll make good videos, so they're not very nitpicky. Some companies are. So let's say hypothetically Elgato is like, hey, I trust that you'll make a good video. Can you just specifically mention that we use 100% plastic-free packaging and that it's made of 60% recyclable materials? So then I'll be like, cool story, bro. Sounds great. Then I will go to Google Drive. I will write my little script, okay? The way I write my script, I use 2 columns. I use a table. The left column, I will have script. The right column, I call it shot list. So I will say the script and then I will write in the shot list how I plan on filming it. So the script side will say, okay, let me just demo this for you. This is how I would send the script over. So I'll do like script shot list like this. So I'm not a videographer. This is just how I do it. There's probably better ways to do it. This is just my method. So I'll write something like this. I will send a script though over to the company so that they can approve the script. The reason why I do it this way is because I want the least reshoots possible. And if you do it this way, if you send them the script before you film the video with companies you have never worked before, so they know exactly how I'm going to film this video. So therefore, they can come back with revisions to the script. They could be like, hey, can you word this a little differently? Or they'll leave like little notes like, I want you to change this, I want you to change that. And I'll be like, cool, sorry, bro, I got you on all of this. I will change this, that, the other. Sometimes they're picky. They're like, hey, we want you to show a shot of our product within the first 3 seconds, but they don't mention that when you're emailing, but they will mention it when they see the shot list. So that's what I send the script and the shot list side by side like that so they can correct it. So once you see this, you will know how I'm gonna film the video. And then I will go and film the video. So I will sit down with my little camera. I film most of my sponsored videos on this camera, which is a Sony ZV-E10. And then I record using the Elgato Wave 3. And then I will edit everything together. And then I will send the video back to them for approval before posting. Just be a little bit careful though, because sometimes when you do that, companies will steal your video because they have the actual file, but they can still steal it. So it is what it is. Sometimes I will watermark it, as in I'll just put a big words that say caliente, make it like 30% transparency, just slap it across the entire video. And I'll tell them I'll post it without this watermark. I just put it in for demo reasons. Then once you finish filming your video, you're going to send the video back over to them for approval, because you're not going to immediately post it. They need to see the video to approve the video. And then also when you're emailing, you're going to ask them, or they will ask you, what are you going to put for the captions? Because they want to know. So sometimes they will tell you, can you use hashtag Elgato partner and hashtag Elgato and any other hashtags you see fit? They will use the term copy for this. So they will say, hey, can you provide me the copy? Or can you provide me the caption? It's interchangeable. Copy, caption means the same thing. I'll tell them like, okay, here's my caption. Hashtag ad, check out the new Elgato Stream Deck Neo. It's an amazing cop for the price. And then hashtag Elgato partner, hashtag Elgato, hashtag Caliente, hashtag Twitch, whatever. I send it over to them and then they see and they will approve the copy and they will come back to me. They will like, hey Kat, the video and the copy looks great. You are good to post tomorrow anytime. The next day, I will post the video on both my TikTok and my Instagram using the exact same copy for both. Now comes invoicing. I will reach out to them or they'll reach out to me one way or the other, but it will be like, so now that this video is posted, can I get the information to invoice you? Or they will say, hey, here is the platform you have to onboard on for invoicing. You will make an invoice and you will send it to the company. There's many ways to make an invoice. What an invoice is literally just like a receipt, essentially. There's a lot of information you need to keep though. You need to have your name or your business name. If you do file under an LLC and S Corp, then your address or your business address, and then a contact, so your phone number, and then also your email. For their information, you're gonna need their business name, their address, their contact number, all on the invoice. And then you're gonna need an invoice number. It has to be unique. So invoice 1, invoice 2, invoice 3, invoice 4. You cannot have multiple invoice 4s, for instance. You also need to put the net. So net 15, net 30, net 45, put that on the invoice. Put what it is and what you're getting paid for. I like to segment it by item. So do it item by item. So even though it's a bundle deal, I'll put like one TikTok video promoting the Elgato Stream Deck Neo, $2,000. Next line, one Instagram reel repost of the TikTok video of the Elgato Stream Deck Neo, $500. And then you total it up like a receipt on the bottom, it'll be $2,500. Depending on how they pay you, it will go a couple of ways. If they pay you through bank routing, you may have to put your bank information on the invoice as well. So you'll put your account number and you'll put your routing number. Use the electronic one, don't use the wiring number for it. That's typically how the invoice would look like. I do mine in Excel. You can just print it out as a PDF afterwards. There's also like invoice templates online you can yoink. You can make an invoice in PayPal. The one difference is if you do it that way, they will pay you in PayPal. If they pay you in PayPal, PayPal will take a cut. So ideally use the bank routing method if they offer it, rather rather than you going through PayPal. So Beacons is a link sharing platform, but they also have a lot of tools for creators. Beacons also has an invoicing option in Beacons as well that you can go check out. But these are all ways to send an invoice. Essentially, what an invoice is a piece of document stating, hey, here's the work that I did, pay me, bro, and here's how long you have to pay me. So yeah, you have to put down net 30 would be ideal, but it's whatever you guys agree to. So unfortunately, if the company didn't budge and you signed the contract stating that it's gonna be net 45, it will be net 45. You send the invoice back to them and you're like, here's the invoice. What if they don't pay? You hound them. That one gets really tricky. There's been instances where companies like would not pay. You can then legally hold them accountable because you signed a contract. You sit and you wait for the payment, and then you receive the payment, and then ding, you're good. That is how a sponsorship on average will look like from start to finish. It is extremely case by case. So I am only speaking on a very hypothetical. Again, this is not how my partnership with Elgato looked like. It came out a very different way, etc. I'm just using it as an example so I can have a product in hand to show you, but this is how it would potentially look like, because there is a lot of hush gray area in how it looks like, because if you've never done one, you might not know how it looks like.